Hey guys, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to continue Nixa, the Deathbringer. Chapter 7, Touch of Magic. How you all doing today? Hope you're doing well. And let's get started. Look, over there. Tom reined in the storm as he and Elena emerged from a belt of trees. Ahead of them lay a high gray wall, stretching far into the distance and burying their way. That must be the Forbidden Land. How are we going to get over? Elena asked, peering over Thomas's shoulder. We'll never be able to climb that. There must be a way in, Thomas said, urging Storm forwards again. As they drew closer, Tom could see that he was right. The road led up to an arched opening in the wall. Two heavy wooden gates, studded with brass nails, blocked their way. Tom jumped down from his horse and pushed at the gates. To his surprise, they swung open easily, and he, Elena, and the animals passed through them. Tom pushed the gates closed again and looked around. Behind him lay a rich field and woods of Aventia. But all the land on this side of the wall was gray and dead. There was no movement and no sound except for the whistling of the wind. A gray haze covered the sky. I can't believe we're still in Aventia, Elena said with a shiver. The ghost beasts have made it like this, said Tom, clenching his fists. Now that he saw the Forbidden Land for himself, he was even more determined to fight the beasts. No part of Aventia should be like this. The road wound ahead through stony hills. Tom climbed back onto Storm and they pressed forwards. This should take us to the dead of... Sorry, I need to drink real quick. In case you're wondering what this is an Italian soda. The carbonation is a bit dull, but it's still good. The road wound ahead through stony hills. Tom climbed back onto Storm, and they pressed forward. This would take us to the dead valley, he said, remembering what he had seen on Wizard Aduro's magic map. That's where we'll find Nixa. They traveled under the blank gray sky, which was getting darker by the minute. Storm's hooves drew up clouds of dust, stinging Tom and Elena's eyes, and making them cough. Silver padded along with his head down and his tongue hanging out. The road began to climb steeply until it reached a rocky plateau. Huddled shapes were scattered here and there across the flat surface. Silver bound up to nearest one and sniffed at it. Then he realized his head and let out a mournful howl. Something's wrong. Elena's voice was full of anxiety. Tom guided Storm over. Horror creeped over him as he realized that the shape was the body of a man. Lying face down from his arms wrapped around his head as if he were trying to protect himself. He didn't look like a citizen of Aventia. His skin was as gray as the land around them. God. These people must live in the Forbidden Land, Tom thought. Aduro hadn't told him that anyone survived here. I think he's dead, Helena whispered. Silver looked up, whining miserably. And Storm shied away, refusing to come any closer. Tom leaned forwards to pat the stallion's neck. Steady, boy. We need to find out what happened, and then we'll be on our way. He slid down from the saddle, and Helena followed. Excuse me. As he bent over the body, Tom could see that Helena was right. The man was dead. Nixa must be close, he murmured. This man hasn't been dead for long. But what's he doing here, anyway? No one from Aventia should set foot in the Forbidden Land. Look! Blood. Helena was pointing to dark, sticky pools on either side of the man's head. He bled from his ears. An icy shiver ran down Tom's spine. Nixa must have used her voice on them, Helena said nervously. Looking around, Tom could now see that the other shapes were bodies, too. All of them with dusty gray skin. They seemed to form a trail leading across the plateau. Perhaps they were travelers who had mistakenly wandered into this deadly region. At least it should be easy to track Nixa now, Tom said grimly. They mounted Storm again and set off, following the trail of bodies. All the men and women seemed to have tried to cover their ears. They all had the telltale sign of blood beside their heads. Two of the bodies were dogs, who had died with their legs stretched out as if they had been trying to leap on Nixa. The sight of the bodies only made Tom more determined to defeat the beast. However, I thought to stop her. Somehow I have to stop her, he thought. At last, the trail of bodies led down to a gaping hole in the rocky hillside. It was a tunnel leading into the hill. Tom caught a glimpse of wooden posts holding up its roof. This must be an old mine, he said. Nixa might be in there, Helena suggested. It would be a good place for a lair. Let's check. Tom stretched out his hand map. Map. At once the ghostly map shimmered in front of Tom. A picture of the mine formed on its shining surface, with a tiny picture of Nixa hovering over it. I think you could be right, Tom said to Helena. banishing the map again with a wave of his hand. Season there somewhere. Tom tried to suppress the chill that tingled through him. They'll be echoing in the mine, he went on. Nixa's voice will be even louder. We need something to protect our ears. Elena jumped down from Storm and cautiously approached the mine's entrance. Tom dismounted, summoning all the magical strength of heart that he could gain from the golden chainmail. But even with its power, he wasn't sure he could force his feet to carry him into the mine where Nixa was lurking. If he and Elena heard the ghost beast's evil voice, they would be facing a certain death. Ugh, I am sweaty today. But I have to try, he murmured to himself. My father is depending on me. Resolutely, he turned towards the gaping entrance. Ads. But before he could step forwards, a swirling blue light sprung up between him and the dark hole. This time it was the form of Wizard Aduro that took shape. Well done getting here, Tom. The wizard's voice sounded clearly inside Tom's head. No one in Avintia will ever doubt your courage, but a little magic never did harm anyone. He raised his hands, and blue light streamed from his fingertips. It formed into tendrils that touched Tom and Elena on both ears. Here's Wizard Aduro doing that. Tom started as he saw Elena's lips move, but he couldn't hear a thing. I have enchanted your ears, Aduro explained. His voice sounded inside Tom's head. You will be protected for a little while, but inside the mines my magic is weak. Ooh, excuse me. Once you go in there, it will start to fade. You do not have long, so you must hurry. Tom and Elena exchanged a glance and nodded vigorously. Good luck, Aduro said as the blue light began to fade. When the wizard vanished, Tom turned to Storm and unslung his shield from his saddle. Wait here, boy. It felt strange to speak and not hear the sound of his own voice. We'll be back soon. Elena crouched beside his silver and stroking the thick fur on his neck. Tom couldn't hear what she was saying to the wolf, but a moment later she straightened up and gestured towards the entrance of the mine. Tom drew his sword and led the way into the darkness. And that was chapter 7. Chapter 7. Trying to find a page. A touch of magic. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I might have to put this as not for kids. Because there are dead bodies and animals in this chapter, so... Then again, I never put any of these chapters in for kids, so... May I remind everyone that this series is for 7-year-olds. Yeah. It's right there. 7 and up. That was bold, Adam Blade. That was bold. If you guys don't know, Adam Blade is the author of Beast Quest. I love his book series so much. It's so good. That's why I am doing it on my YouTube channel, so... Hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you guys are interested... I can't talk. Interested in more Beast Quest videos. Alright. See you next week!